as Cathedral City Mayor Nancy Ross will throw out the ceremony first pitch of 2025 Mary Nutter Classic Tournament. Mayor Ross is joined by her fellow council members, of course, including council members Rita, Lamb, Ernesto Gutierrez, and Mark Carnavale. Each of them is thankful for that they are not having to throw out the first pitch. Mayor Ross and the City Council welcome you to sunny Southern California and hope you will have time to discover the many fun things to do, such as local dining, food, shopping, and vintage collections to world-class art. Hiking trails and downtown arts and entertainment, featuring Auto Caliente Casino, Mary Pittsburgh Movie Theater, CBS Playhouse, restaurants, lounges, and so much more. Now, without further ado, Mayor Ross, please throw out the ceremonial first pitch. Round of applause, please. Thank you.
Continuing with our coverage of the 21st Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. About 1 hour ago, the Mizzou Tigers walked away with their first win of the tournament with a double play to seal the deal. Elvis Presley was impressed himself. It was a game as first as Taylor Pinole in her first collegiate start threw a complete game shutout with 6 strikes as the Tigers look to continue the momentum against the UCLA Bruins, who have been nearly perfect this season, sitting at a 9-1 with 6 run rule victories, 5 shutouts. But both of these teams have the sticks. It's going to come down to which pitching staff can shut down the other defense. 2 of the top teams in the nation here on Flow Sports. Joining you here in Cathedral City, myself, Sydney Supley, and my partner in crime, Amanda Freed. The UCLA Bruins legend herself, as she'll be able to talk about her alma mater. And in the circle, we have a fun one today. Left-handed pitcher Caitlin Terry, the last season's freshman Player of the Year for the Pac-12. And Terry led the Bruins in innings last season. She's doing so already in her sophomore campaign from Glendale, Arizona. And around her, she's going to have a stellar defense. As going from left to right, we'll start with Kanaya Bragg holding it down at third base, shortstop Elena Garcia, Seneca Crow at second base, Jordan Woolery holding it down at first base. Behind the dish, who we're seeing right now, Maggie Daniel, and then going to our outfielders, starting with left field, Riley Slimp, Jessica Clements at center field, and in right field, the big bat of Megan Grant. As UCLA will look to get their 10th win for the season and first one here at the Mary Nutter. But until they do so, they're going to have to go through a very talented Mizzou lineup. Coach Larissa Anderson just got done winning her first game of the tournament against Nevada. And to lead us off, we'll have Julia Crenshaw in the 2 spot, Claire Kashilan, 3 spot Madison Walker, Cara Daly, Abby Hay, Sanaya Hill getting the start after her first collegiate hit last game, Madison Upgrove, Hayden Sakoski, and Kaylee Langer to lead us off for the Tigers. And Amanda, we just got done listing a lot of All-Americans on both sides, top players, but how exciting is it to be back here at one of the best tournaments at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic?
Oh gosh, it feels so good for these teams to come out and for Missouri to get that first game under their belt before they play UCLA. UCLA is such a long time Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic participant that this is basically their home field. They come here, they get some good experience, they get some good solid top wins. But I think you're right, Sydney. This is going to be a real pitcher's duel. Caitlin Terry in the circle for UCLA is dominant, throwing through the zone, throws hard from that left side. The Bruins love playing behind her because she's a strike-throwing machine. Hard through the zone, likes that up pitch, but she's going to be tough to get the barrel on, and she's a tall order for Missouri.
There is no competitor like Terry out there. I have to tell you, Amanda, I talked to her about 2 weeks ago before the season started, and in her call for media days, she zoomed in with a lion behind her that was hanging in her bedroom. And I said, does this describe who you are? She said, absolutely. So you're going to have a lion on the mound for UCLA. So go up against one of the best coaches in the game in Larissa Anderson. And what she has done for Missouri already in her 7th season has gone off to one of the most successful starts in NCAA, as she has brought her Tigers to 5 NCAA regional appearances and a handful of super regionals as they look to continue where they left off last season.
I think these first 2 pitches are indicative of what this game is going to look like. Terry hammers the zone hard. First pitch swinging was Crenshaw. Second pitch swinging, same pitch straight through the zone. Nobody's shying away. Both sides being aggressive right out the gate.
And you love when you see that. And that's also been a common theme so far in this tournament, as this is our 4th game here today on Wrigley Field. Seen a lot of first pitch swinging. This goes to show that these pitchers, or these hitters, excuse me, know they're facing some of the best arms in the game, like Terry right there, who's able to sneak that one in. And for Crenshaw, she's following the theme we're starting to see across the country of leading off with a power hitter. She pops that one up. It'll be a candy corn for Jessica Clements to make out number 1. And there's one thing to swing early, but also still holding your zone is something that both of these lineups are going to have to manage as we go throughout the game.
Yeah, be selective with your pitches, the quality of the pitches that you swing at, and gather that information and bring it back to your team in the dugout. Get that pitch at the belt, but swing on top of it, drive it down through the zone if you're going to get on to Terry.
And Terry right away showing her vertical movement, going to her rise ball back to back. Claire Callahan will look to get some momentum starting early for these Tigers. Had plenty of momentum last game. And I was laughing with you before we even started. I looked at Mizzou's last game, and normally when you win, you don't change a lineup. But already Larissa Anderson showing she has a ton off the bench as she mixed it up right after beating Nevada.
Yeah, that's fun to see. You know, you write your lineups and we do, anticipating you'll see certain girls in certain positions, but how much fun for a coach to have that type of depth where you can mix it up from game to game.
It's Caitlin Terry with the changeup, misses a little bit low.
I like Terry using that pitch early on in this ball game. Hard, high in the zone, and then mixing in that changeup. Even when you bounce it, it's effective.
That is truly probably the best back-to-back pitch you can have as a pitcher, as both of us have experienced. There's nothing better than throwing one up and in for a rise ball and then dishing a little changeup and going back to it. Probably one of the most hardest combinations to hit if you're a hitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Terry showing off her drop ball as well. And when you have a pitcher who's able to work north to south and off speed, it really comes down to just picking a level and attacking one, because if you try to open up all of it is when hitting becomes really hard. Callahan will continue battling. The key for these Mizzou Tigers to try to take Terry in as many late at-bats as they can. Just seeing pitching over and over.
Cahalan right now making it difficult on Terry. She's fouled away just about everything she's offered except that changeup.
And a timely slap there, showing off the speed. What a tremendous job by Kaylin putting the off speed in play, showing off those wheels.
Now, great use of the ground. Cahalan did a number to get to that pitch, held her hands back, and then really pounded it into the ground. And once you see the height on that pitch, you know you virtually have no opportunity to get that speed at first.
Almost feels like a gift if you're a slapper, and now you bring in the strong bat of Madison Walker, who's been tremendously hot this last weekend. She had a career-high 2 home runs in 1 game against the win over Liberty, as she leads Mizzou right now with 4 home runs, making her 5th in SEC so far this season. Mizzou early on showing that they're willing to go after Terry's rise ball, even if it's out of the zone a little bit.
Yeah, when you barrel up on that pitch belt high, it can leave the ballpark in a hurry, especially with the speed that Terry has. But now down 0-2, you have to watch the down pitch, that little off-speed pitch that Caitlin Terry has hit down on the corner so well recently. We've already seen it a couple times in this ball game.
That's right. Now Walker calls timeout. Speaking to Jeff Cottrell, who serves as the Tigers hitting coach. Most people know him for the work he did with Oklahoma State as he brought them to the Women's College World Series. Now joins the Tigers staff, a big addition for their hitters. Terry fires that one in the zone, pops off her glove. She's still able to maintain for the second out. One, if she would have fielded cleanly, probably was looking for two, but just to recover and get any out is always most important.
Yep, good composure. It did look like maybe thinking two right away, but you've got to be quick to be able to get that lead out at second. Instead, recovers well to get the second out of the inning.
Recovery always key as Daly steps into the 4-spot runner in scoring position for the first time for the Tigers.
I wonder if the information going into the dugout has been consistent, because I know Crenshaw and Walker and now Daly had the same first pitch tight in on the hands at belt high. And when you see that for the first time, it's tough to catch up with and get that arrow all the way to the ball.
What makes Terry so good is she throws a rise ball out of the zone, but then she almost comes in with a bit of a low rise, able to still get that momentum coming on the plate and the spin working up, and it can freeze so many hitters after you see it be a ball over and over. As Terry delivers that one out of the zone in a check swing, but she went as Cara Daly, as Caitlin Terry walks away with her first strikeout of the inning, and the Bruins will look to get on the board first as we come back. As Missouri Tigers look to hold it down on the defense, they walked away with some pretty swaggy gear. I must say the seniors were gifted these brand new shoes with the Tigers logo all over it. Amanda, I want a pair. We're going to have to talk to somebody to see if they can sneak an extra two for us here on the call today, because how fun are those?
Those are rad, and I would be so nervous to wear them because I wouldn't want to get them dirty. I would want to save them forever.
Well, they're clearly not wearing them right now. They're going to save them for after the game. But as we go around the infield, you have Walker at third base, Daly at shortstop, up to Grove at second base, Hay holding it down at first base, Crenshaw behind the plate, McCann in the circle, Sokolowski in left field, Callahan in center field, and Langer in right field. Let's talk about Marissa McCann, who will be taking it over in the circle, the sophomore right-handed pitcher from Arizona. She's 3-0 so far this season, and she's going to have to go against a very tough UCLA lineup that will lead off with Savannah Pola. Jessica Clement will come at number 2, Jordan Woolery in the 3 spot, Megan Grant at 4, Kanaya Bragg 5, Seneca Crow, Alina Garcia, Maggie Daniel, and rounding us off is Riley Slimp. A UCLA team who has created 7 run rules so far just by their bats, obviously with the help of their arms. And Marissa McMahon is going to do everything she can to try to quiet a very hot UCLA Bruins team so far this season.
Yeah, McCann had a good number of innings last year, but this year really looking to be the workhorse in the circle for Mizzou. And she works ahead with a strike.
And that's for a lot of these Mizzou pitching staff. When you had a pitcher as dominant as they did within Kring last year, who just ate up so many innings, everyone's finally starting to add up a little bit more. And she saw success last year. And you mentioned she's only 14 innings shy of what she had last year, 3-0 with a 2.15 ERA. Savannah Poila digs in. We talked about having power on one side at Missouri. The great thing about Savannah is not only does she have power, but she also has a little bit of speed, and nobody better than to lead the Bruins is head coach Kelly Inouye Perez in her 19th season. Now, we talk about national championships every time we look at UCLA. She's the only person who's done it both as a player and as a coach. Pretty special there, huh, Amanda?
You know, it is so special to have that staff be there for as long as they have, to go from an athlete right into coaching and working your way up to becoming the head coach like Coach Inouye Perez has, Lisa Fernandez, Kirk Walker, those that have been there for so long. Bubba Nichols, a player, now an assistant coach. It's a really special culture over there in Westwood.
And so many people on staff who have worn the uniform themselves. They understand what it means. And anytime you're a player and you know somebody who's coaching you has done it before, it just, you always believe what they're saying, but I feel like you trust it a little bit more, that they know what it's like to be in your cleats. Polo pops that one high. And it'll be out number 1 for Missouri.
That's a big out for Missouri because Pola swinging a really hot stick, batting .500 through her first 30 at-bats, so an incredible leadoff hitter for the Bruins.
You talk about one 500 average, basically another one right now within Jessica Clements, who was the batting title last year for her conference. She comes to UCLA in her final season to be able to wear this uniform. She's talked about how special it is to end her already historic career here in Los Angeles, California. And the team has just welcomed her with open arms.
Yeah, it's really kind of become a part of our game, right? Is rarely do you see a team just bring freshmen in and grow all together. You're welcoming transfers in to make your program bigger and better. And so as a team, if you want to maintain that good culture, you have to be welcoming. And, you know, obviously the staff is looking for student athletes that fit the mold and want to jump right in and be a part. And Clements has done a fantastic job of doing that.
She'll watch that one on the outside corner, barely missing. And one fun thing to notice, you're starting to see more, you talk about how our game has evolved, is looking at the catcher. As you see, McMahon will take a deep breath. She will focus on the red on Crenshaw once we get back to the catcher. And for so many pitchers, it's become a vocal point, something to help them concentrate and bring out their best side pitching. She's painting that outside corner, but not able to get it. And Amanda, you're a pitcher. How much has it just been neat to see the way the game has evolved and allowed pitchers to have extra things to help them concentrate and bring out the best responses?
Oh, goodness. Our game is always changing. The strike zone changes. The pitching rules change.
That one's rolled over to
bigger,
first base.
Stronger.
Yeah, bigger, stronger, and be able to make outs like that against some of the top 2 hitters, right, for UCLA.
Yeah, but I love the evolution of that red stripe because it's a great visual for pitchers. With, in my opinion, the strike zone has become more on the hitter's side, and so being able to identify exactly where the corner of the plate is, line up your pitch and hit that spot is important.
So many visual cue points there. McMahon so far dominant against these Bruins. And we talked earlier how Caitlin Terry is the 2024 Pac-12 Freshman Player of the Year. Well, 2023 went to Jordan Woolery as the Bruins continue to take a hold on that honor. As Woolery, since she stepped foot for UCLA, has just done damage on the plate. Also, people talk about how so much she is the glue of this program. Always bringing laughs and smiles to the faces, never letting anybody take it too seriously, which I think leads to a lot of her success. Woolery will settle in. A few foul balls here to get us started.
Yeah, Woolery has been a really consistent hitter, as you mentioned, since she stepped foot on UCLA's campus, coming in along with Megan Grant. The two of them have always kind of been put side by side as being powerhouses in their freshman class a couple of years ago, and it's been fun to watch them grow and evolve with the sport.
The power of Woolery is she's able to muscle that one through a base hit. I mean, a terrific pitch by McCann. Jams her on the inside half, but all the strength of Woolery is allowing her to spray it to the opposite field.
That's where that power really pays off. If you have to put those outfielders pretty much near that warning track, and then it opens up all that space on the grass, and then Woolery gets jammed and drops in for a base hit.
And I love the smile that you just saw after. You can tell doesn't care how she got on, right? Even though we know she got jammed and she muscled it through, and that's what's so great about these teams and makes championship teams when they're so selfless. And she might also be smiling for the new Evo guard she's able to put on. You can see that one looks a little bit like a Pop-Tart. They have also ones that demonstrate the Bruin Bear, all courtesy of their new helmets and the new logo and gear that the team is just so excited to bring an extra pizzazz to their uniform look.
All the accessories, they're important.
Right? Did you guys have that when you were there?
No, we did not. I wish we did. We had other fun things to represent, but that just looks like fun.
I mean, now we need the Mizzou shoes. We need the UCLA helmet. We're going to walk away with hopefully some swag if the teams are nice enough.
Yeah, keep talking about it. We'll swag bag at the end of the weekend.
You mentioned not only when you think of UCLA's lineup, do you think of Jordan, but you think of Megan Grant and what the two of them have done together. I think of even last season. At this time last year, so many people were questioning where UCLA was as they lost a few games, but they end up at the Women's College World Series mostly because of these two people. As Grant sends that one out to left field, but it'll be out number 3 as McCann is able to power through the top half of this UCLA lineup. We'll be back in the top of the second as Mizzou will try to get it done with their bats. This weekend here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, we're expecting to see around 30 to 35,000 fans and even more of you who are streaming from at home, because there is no better softball than what you are seeing right now here in Cathedral City, as we already have a bit of a pitcher's duel brewing within the first inning, as the Mizzou Tigers are going to be looking to be the first ones here on the board. And Caitlin Terry working her stuff already in the first 3 batters against Mizzou, showing off her range from her rise ball to her drop ball. Amanda, what have you liked so far that you've seen from Terry this game?
Well, number one, I like that she's throwing hard strikes first pitch of each of these hitters. She's getting ahead, and when you do that, you're able to work all of your different pitches. She might not be as confident with others. I think she is, but the ability to go through the zone, get that first strike, and then confidently mix down and away the little off-speed pitch to really set the hitters up to go with what you want to. I think she's looking really sharp right now.
To get us started, we have Abby Hay, the sophomore for Columbia, Missouri. Something that these Tigers take a lot of pride in is how many home state Missouri players that they have on their roster right now. as Hay holds it down at first base. Looking to get it done, you mentioned right there as Terry fires another early in the count strike.
Yeah, didn't get that first one, but then immediately responds back to get that next pitch called for a strike.
And Terry's so effective as a lefty, being able to throw that curveball that really jams a righty, and it's a different look for them. You know, that's why lefties are so effective, as you most of the time you're up against those righty pitchers. Terry lets that one dance, backdoor for her first no-looking strikeout, second one of the game. And how lethal is that combination? She's gonna bring you a curveball, jam you, and then she's gonna throw you that backdoor one back-to-back.
Well, I think it was deceptive because she didn't go up in the zone and she didn't go off speed. She just hammered 4 or 3 straight hard strikes at the knees on the outside corner. And I think just froze Hay, wasn't able to get her timing down.
And you even mentioned, Amanda, when the last half inning about how they're probably going back to the dugout saying, you know, she's starting everybody off Riseball up in the zone. And you think about those conversations that probably happened between half inning, and then she comes out already with a completely new pitch and a different look, which just makes Terry so effective as having so many tools within her toolbox.
Yeah, and that's tough when the pitcher is changing things up inning to inning. You can't settle in, you can't anticipate or look ahead.
And a neat story we have here is,
yeah,
right?
Go for
She
it.
follows up with that. Sanaya Hill, I was just going to tell you, she's earning her first college start as she had her first collegiate hit in the last game, which ended up being the difference maker against Rutgers. And so neat that Coach Anderson rewards her right away with saying, you know what? You helped us win that game, and now start for us in the lineup.
Yeah, and look at that swing. I believe it. She looks like she's been playing and starting all season long.
That's what great players do, always ready for their moment coming off the bench. It's another backdoor curve. Already.
You know, so many of these pitches I watch, I think to myself, I don't know if I could let that go by. That's so close. It looks so close, but these hitters are so good at understanding the strike zone.
A matter of inches. In these cases, I agree. It feels like centimeters. I think we're also a bit biased towards the pitchers, probably being former ones ourselves. I just want that call for them.
That was a good spot.
Yeah, exactly. The count goes to 1-2. And for Missouri, I mean, they're coming off of just having how many countless bats, but UCLA just getting warm here in the tournament. As Terry tried to go to an off-speed there. And you have to love, she turns around, she smiles. And that's something I've seen from her all season long, even when a pitch doesn't go her way.
Yeah, it's like a frustration smile. Like, God, just missed that pitch, should have had it. Now I'm 3-2.
3-2 goes back upstairs, having a ton of confidence within that rise ball. It worked so well for her already in the first inning.
That might have been ball 4, but again, like, don't want to leave it in the hands of the umpire. A nice aggressive swing by Hill.
Another check swing goes Terry's way. She's already racking up her 3rd strikeout of the game so far.
Now coming to the plate, number 24, Madison.
And kudos to her for working back from that 3-2 count. As you said, a borderline could have been ball or strike, and then finishes back off right where she wants. Madison up to Grove, will step in the box for the Tigers. And she has found that corner now. The junior from Columbia, Missouri. We're going to be saying it all along today. Another home state kid. Terry fires that one upstairs.
That's got to be the goal of every coach across the country, right? Is keep those hometown kids that are in your backyard, that have been lifelong fans and followers, keep them home.
You tend to play with so much more pride when you're representing, and Caitlin Terry will sit them down. 3 strikeouts here in the top of the second as Terry is starting to find her groove. Now can the momentum carry over to the bats for the Bruins? Attention athletes and spectators, be sure to tell your friends and family that they can watch all of the action live from Mary Nutter on FloCollege.com. And Flo College will be live streaming all of the games and will also have all of the archives available to watch on demand. Check it out on FloCollege.com. And if you're not in the stands, you better be at home. But I have to say, if you are here, you get to enjoy some of these incredible vendors. Amanda, I'm going to be stealing this kettle corn after the game. I can promise you that. It's what's better than popcorn
so much.
Yes.
Oh, the kettle corn stations are the best.
They are. I can smell them for where I am right now, I can tell you. And it's getting harder and harder to resist the further we go into this game. And the vendors are just some of the many people who have made this tournament possible. Over 60 workers you had setting everything up since Monday, all for this tournament. We have our entire Flow staff here, not to mention all of these teams and players who have traveled, all to make this tournament happen. I mean, no other time besides Women's College World Series do you have some of the top teams in the nation. We have 8 from the top 25 already this weekend.
That's really why these colleges come to compete. And when we've had these calls with some of the participants here, they come because of the competition, because they want to see what's out there, see that top quality, high level of play before going into conference play and then ultimately into the postseason. But a first really good look at these best teams.
What we're seeing right here is their regional matchup, super regional matchups, and even for some of them, Women College World Series matchups. And that's the crazy thing, is that we are fortunate to have this in week 3. As Kanaya Bragg takes a big hack at that one.
Please return all foul balls, baby.
Before McGann, she saw so much success the first time through, some of the best hitters for the UCLA Bruins lineup. But anytime you have a pitcher who walks away with 3 strikeouts, you start swinging the bat a little bit harder. But McGann showing what she's made of with a huge strikeout there against Bragg.
I started that at bat with an off-speed pitch and then ended it with a perfectly placed off-speed down at the shins.
And sometimes when you have a hitter like Bragg pulled that one foul about 200 feet down the line, you know they're going to be swinging big that next pitch. So we love that off-speed call. And then to start the very next batter, hard and in against Elena Garcia. Or excuse me, Seneca Curro. So far, both pitchers are dealing in this matchup. Another swing and a miss. Just working multiple levels and speeds right now, Amanda.
Yeah, and I like that these pitchers, again, are hammering the strike zone. You look at this weekend and the type of competition you're playing and the number of games, you really want to keep that pitch count down. And that means you have to go right through the zone.
And Seneca Curl looked like she got a hold of that one. But Missouri able to be at the fences. Sokolsky says close, but not far enough with out number 2 for the Tigers.
Now it's play for the Bruins, number 21.
And some of these hits can be so deceiving, as to look like Curl really squared that one up, but just a little bit on her front leg, not able to get her entire backside power through that swing. McCann goes back upstairs this time. Garcia lays off of it. Garcia, part of the left side freshman duo the UCLA Bruins have. This freshman class was #1 in the nation that UCLA brought in, and you can tell that right away these players, these freshmen, are making an impact for the Bruins.
I always like looking at the freshmen and imagining their growth over the next 4 years and how exciting that must be for the coaching staff.
As Garcia found a hole right there, and hey, whatever it takes to get on. And we are seeing, as you mentioned, somebody like Garcia who will just emerge through her eyes, and for her already to be able to have so much success early on.
Now at the play for UCLA, number 14, Maggie.
That one just snuck through the 5-6 hole. McCann fires that one away.
Again, in tight with that curveball. I like that she is also mixing lots of different pitches, using that changeup, going up in the zone. Screwball, excuse me, on the inside corner. Not afraid to put it in tight.
You can tell that is definitely a game plan that Missouri pitching staff came in against UCLA that has a ton of power, that their only way to neutralize it was to gonna come in strong. Already they're doing so on the inside plate, making them get on time before they make an adjustment. That one they'll send outside. Looked like it could have been a pitch out with how quickly Crenshaw popped up and checked first base. There's 2 outs, UCLA. See if they can get anything going. That one's popped up high into right field, hustled down, and she will miss it. As Lenger lost it in the sun, UCLA coming around to score. And that's why you never stop running. Deep breath there by outfielder Lenger. Looks like it would have just been a routine.
This is frustrating. I think she just overran it, thinking maybe it was going to go a little more shallow than it did, and then wasn't able to get the glove up. But you're right, off on the pitch, Alina Garcia was planning on scoring on anything put in play. So a big break for the Bruins.
The beauty of having 2 outs is on the pitch, you're running no matter what. The Bruins find themselves on the board early. If you're McCann, you need to settle in and understand the 2 hits that came aboard were also quality pitches. So there's nothing that she needs to change right now if she's on the mound, but just keep doing her job, and her defense behind her will pick her up.
Yeah, very good point, because that was an out pitch. That was a well-executed changeup on the outside part of the plate. Got Daniel leaning, got a pop-up, which is exactly what she wanted. But things happen. It's early in this ball game. Yeah, and there's a lot of time left.
And that's the beauty of you just never know sometimes which way the ball's gonna roll. Because we have Slimp in the 9 hole for the Bruins. Somebody who does a great job, again, just as another first-year player, putting the ball in play, has a ton of speed. That's why they like her there, to turn around the lineup and get her on the base fast. She's somebody that's hard to throw out. The rise ball just battles that one off barely. And as long as you can keep a barrel on it and foul it off, you stay alive.
And you got to give a lot of credit to McCann for coming right back, working ahead, 2 strikes to this batter after that last error. Just continuing on with her game plan.
The off speed that's left elevated will go through the left field line, run around in third. And the second runner will score as UCLA now extends their lead by one more, and the freshman Riley Slimp is the one to get it done. Doesn't try to do too much on that swing.
Now with this pitch, with 2 strikes, you're really looking to protect and just make solid contact. And Slimp lucked out, got a pitch that was very much in the zone for 2 strikes and was able to barrel it up into left field.
A lot of these UCLA hitters, we talked about it with Rory. Once again, Slimp shows the power and just keeping your hands inside the barrel on those inside pitches, being able to spray it to opposite field. I mean, Derek Jeter made a living off of that right now, so is UCLA Bruins. That one's beautifully painted for 1-1, and if you're McCann, it's just trying to limit this damage. Hitting is all about ebb and flows within our game, and if you could just walk away with try to be unscathed as possible, you allow your defense to reset and try to work back and get those runs.
I think coming into this ball game, Mizzou knew that shutting out UCLA probably wasn't going to happen. UCLA puts up a lot of runs, so it's not a matter of not allowing any runs. It's limiting those runs and then getting the job done on offense. Score a few more runs than the Bruins.
For UCLA back at the top of the lineup. Spolo fouls that one. And for UCLA to already be turning over their lineup here in the second inning. I mean, anytime you can see a pitcher more times and someone against McCann who saw great success already. So we see Caitlin Terry, who is the other successor on the other side of the mound. Off to a terrific start so far with a little arm sleeve. And you have to wonder, is that just preventative in between innings? I would assume they were not taking her out of the game right now, so it must be part of her routine when she's not on the field.
Just like the red stripe and the gear, and that's just another part of what makes this team click and keeping her warm in between innings.
You tell Crenshaw telling everybody just to settle down a little bit. When you can have a catcher who's able to refocus the team and be such a leader, it's the only person who everybody has to look at. And a huge strikeout there by McCann sends Savannah Polo back to the bench, but not before the UCLA Bruins strike, having not one but 2 runs on the board for Caitlin Terry to be back on the mound when we are back. What a beautiful night we have here in Cathedral City. Sunset on its way, fans here, but even more importantly, we are joined with a very special guest, a UCLA softball legend, Aaliyah Jordan, 2-time All-American. I mean, Aaliyah, I don't think anybody knows this program better than you do. Started in 2017, finished up in 2023. Talk to me about how special it is being a Bruin, this Bruin magic I always hear about.
Oh my gosh. I think the first thing I have to say is my favorite thing to say is I'm a Bruin. Anytime, anywhere I can get the opportunity to say that, I love to say it, I'm a Bruin. But yeah, it's so fun watching this team. Honestly, it's crazy being on the other side now, but yeah, this is such an amazing team.
And we've been talking all weekend long how special this tournament is. You played in a lot of Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. There's something special about this one, right? The fans, the matchups, the ball fields. What's it like? What memories are coming to your mind? How special is this place?
I mean, I think I grew up coming to this like every year since I was, Lord knows how old. So I think just being able to play in Southern California with such amazing teams, like you said, these matchups, it's insane. So I think it's just really cool, not only for the teams and the players, but also the little girls, you know, watching these games.
And as we wrap this up,
Yeah,
go ahead, Amanda. One Bruin to the other.
Go
ahead.
No, I love being a Bruin too. I just wanted to say that. I want to know what you're up to. I want to know, like, give us the 411 on what life is like post Bruin softball.
Well, no more softball, unfortunately. But honestly, I love watching it. But I'm in software sales right now, so still in Southern California, still able to watch my Bruins. So yeah, life's great.
And as you're watching your Bruins, obviously Caitlin Terry on the mound, one of the best, but what do you think is really special about this group this year? I mean, they're off to a tremendous start. I know you're a very proud alumni watching them.
Yeah. I was just talking to Coach Kirk about this. He was saying there's something so special about the team, and I feel like it's because they're young, and I feel like, Sydney, you can experience this too, but when you're young, like, you're just out here playing. Like, no one has film on you. Like, there's no pressure. You're just like, yeah, I'm just playing softball. So it's just fun to see such a young group come together and then obviously just ball out the way that they are.
You said it best. When you're young, you can ball out and not be sore, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
as good
There
as
you
it
go.
gets.
Yes, that especially.
Awesome. Well, Aaliyah Jordan, what a special surprise this was. Thank you for joining us. Go cheer on your Bruins. Give them all the good luck this weekend, but we appreciate you taking the time and one of the best to ever wear the UCLA across her chest.
Thank you. Go Bruins.
And as Caitlin Terry starts to settle in here, the Bruins looking for their first out. But Amanda, I mean, there was something so special about that. And you see it from the way you talk about your old alma mater, but also the way Jordan Woolery, and we have so many other, Maya Brady, players who just come back to watch their team this weekend and to continue to give back and be a part of the program.
Yeah, and I think it really goes back to the coaching staff and the years that they've spent cultivating that kind of culture and making it a point to involve the alumni and get the alumni to know and learn about the current Bruins and build that connection. And we love getting together. We love watching our Bruins and being a part of that. And we love watching these young Bruins come in and knowing that one day, you know, we're all going to be alumni together. So it really is a special program.
And what's so fun is before the season, I spoke with Caitlin Terry and also Jordan Woolery, and I said, okay, explain to me Bruin magic, this Bruin bubble. And everyone was like, it's indescribable until you've been in those moments and you just understand about how when you're wearing the uniform, you're not only wearing it for yourself, but it's all the women that played before. And I think it's a program that completely believes in that, but it also continues to carry on the legacy and tradition year after year. As we are seeing
an feeling that you get being recruited when you step on campus and you get a chance to step onto Easton Stadium and just experience the history of the program too. I mean, that's just so undeniable when you get there and you look on the walls and you see the Olympians that have played, the Lisa Fernandez and the Coach Inouye Perez, and then I get to be on the field with them and learn from them and so many greats. So I think to end the conversation, yes, I mean, this definitely, it's a cool place.
As the Bruins lead the way with 13 national championships, they believe they have the team to do so with 14. And that's why games like this matter so much, because you don't get to face a talented Missouri team who also has opportunity to chase a similar goal. To be able to face each other this early and to learn from it is incredible, as Terry continues to go in this back and forth battle we are seeing right now. And Langer not giving up. I mean, we said Missouri was going to have to claw away at Terry and try to wear her down if they were going to do some damage. And striker out, thrower out. Kaylin Terry, now her 4th straight strikeout here of the game, 5th overall. But not before Langer put up a huge fight. Terry able to have the last say on that one. Makes her so good. Has a strikeout throwing hard, comes back with the off speed. That is just such a beautiful. Yeah. As Missouri back to the top of the order, Crenshaw fires it across the field, and a double play for the UCLA Bruins with a line shot there caught by freshman Alina Garcia, able to fire it across the field for Jordan Woolery, and the Bruins will stay hot on all cylinder. Defensively, as they head back to offense to look to add more to their lead. Keep up with USA Softball all year long at www.usasoftball.com, finding local events, USA Softball National Championships, and the latest on certified equipment is just a click away. And are you a 12U player? Sign up and try out for the USA All-American Games. Man, I wish I was still a 12U player because that sounds wonderful. Unfortunately, I think I'm a little bit past the age range, and that's why we're here. As Amanda, we have started to see UCLA build momentum on both sides of the field as they drop down a bunt, but Missouri right there, they heard me talking as Maggie Daniels steps up big, or excuse me, Crenshaw behind the dish, a huge first out against the Bruins.
I just love an athletic catcher behind the plate, sees the hands and immediately sees the ball hit the barrel, finds it up in the air and gets that first out of the inning.
And Crenshaw being a huge leader for the Tigers. As somebody who's constantly praised throughout the program, and just what a wonderful job she does, knowing what each one of her pitchers does, which I think is always the best sign, is when you can switch up your language, your tone, your eye level to match what each pitcher needs. So far today, McCann done a great job cooling off the hot bats of Boilo and Clements. So we get now to Jordan Woolery, who's in the driver's seat after a few good takes. Nothing like thinking it's ball 4 and throwing your back. Umpire will bring her back and has a little smile with that one, which you have to. Yeah, it's a my bad blue. It's the dugout looking to keep the momentum on their side. They've had a lot to cheer about. McCann doing everything she can to keep these Tigers in the game.
Yeah, backhand, 2 back-to-back identical pitches, knee-high inside. By the way, Jordan threw her barrel on that first one. She thought, she might not like that pitch. I'm going to come right back with it again.
Why not? It worked once, works twice. Zuri sends that one to right field. And this time, able to make a huge catch is Lenger. Difficulties with the one last inning, but tracks down a tough ball that was breaking right.
Yeah, these are tough to handle. This ball, inside out swing, a lot of spin on it and some movement up in the air. Lenger does a good job of maybe recovering from a slight misread at the beginning, but then going and getting that ball for the second out.
Megan Grant will dig in, looking for a little 2-out momentum for the Bruins. And for McCann, a response after a second inning that got away a little bit with defensive cues. And so far understood that she did not have to change her game, just trust the defense behind her who stepped up this inning. She continues to be a big battle test against the Bruins as Grant pops that one up to center field. And out number 3 for the Tigers as they will look to claw back against the Bruins who lead 2-0. We've been talking about how lucky we are here to be watching the top softball teams across the nation, but with this view, could we get any more lucky as the Bruins lead the Tigers 2-0, but Claire Kalin will step up to the plate to create some momentum for the Tigers, and McCann is giving them a lot of reason to have momentum as she continues to hold it down in the circle. Slaps that one away. Terry with the backhand and throw for out number 1. Anytime you're a lefty, to be able to make that spin move shows what an athlete that you are. Terry, one of the best athletes right now in the game.
Yeah, Terry doing a really nice job of fielding position. I love Cahalan's approach, though, at the plate, the way she sees the ball all the way to the barrel and utilizes the dirt. But you just got to get it past Terry. Success.
Once you're there, you're in business. And that really is the key for so many slappers, as they always say, if you could just shoot the middle infield and get by the pitcher and the 2 corners crashing, most likely third base, then usually you can use your speed to such advantage.
Yeah, well, look at how close that was. Terry fielding it, but maybe a step ahead.
And that's when it helps when you have a pitcher who can act as such another important infielder, a true good one. There's nothing like it, and it's so frustrating for the offense then to try to go against her. Madison Walker swings and chases that off speed, and Terry continues lining up more strikeouts here today. So that one, she goes to her off speed to put Walker away.
A good mix of pitches, gets well ahead in the count, and then is able to throw that off-speed pitch down outside the strike zone.
As Terry racked up her 6th strikeout so far this game. And right now, if you're Daly, you know, it's just little wins, right? How could you put the ball in play? Start making adjustments bat to bat. You don't need to be a superhero and try to do it all right now, but to be able to find some answers against Terry. She'll send that one to right field, but it will stop at Up to Grove at second base. Or excuse me, will stop at Kuro at second base for UCLA for the 3rd out as the Bruins continue to not let Tigers on the board. We'll go to add to their run, keep the momentum going that Terry is bringing on the mound. Fans are staying around for a great softball game, and while they wait, check out the latest range of sunglasses featuring Oakley's revolutionary prism technology. And Oakley's all about recognizing the standout players who bring energy and excitement to softball, which is a lot of these women on the field right now. And Oakley is setting the standard in performance and style. I have a pair of Oakleys. I know a lot of people who do. I think once you're a softball player, you're Team Oakley for life, I must admit. Right now, UCLA getting us started with a huge base hit to lead off the inning. As Kanaya Bragg found her way through the infield. Love a celebration. UCLA has been great at that, I have to say. You get on base, we see a big smile every time.
Kanaya Bragg, another one of those impact freshmen, actually went to my high school, so I've had a chance to watch her in her career prior to coming to UCLA. I was super excited to see that she signed with the Bruins.
You probably watched her be talented for a very long time.
Yes, yes.
And that's what UCLA, they do such a great job. I feel like just putting so many underclassmen and even just freshmen in early and just really staying committed to the process. You know, we've been talking about vendors also. I said kettle corn. I might have to do ice cream. I can promise you before the end of this weekend, I will have one of everything. I mean, look at those flavors. Mint chip, black cherry, and a little wave. We just have the nicest people here at the stadium, Amanda.
I know. If you're a young athlete or a family of a young aspiring softball player and you live anywhere in the area of Cathedral City, I highly recommend jumping down there this weekend, catching some games. I mean, the atmosphere is just so electric, and it's the best softball you're going to see up close. I mean, look at the fans in the stands. It's not like these big giant stadiums where you're sitting, you know, yards away. You are right up close and personal to these athletes, and it's a really fun experience.
And what's so special is you have so many great matchups going on at one time. I think that's some of the best parts is we're on this game right now, but the other 3 fields right now, there's top 25 matchups. There's incredible softball. You can't really go not only hungry, but also unsatisfied with talented softball players on all 4 fields here.
That's so true. I mean, Hawaii is in town. Yeah, Duke's in town. Howard's coming out here. I mean, all across the country. This is one of those tournaments everybody wants to be a part of.
And we are thankful to be a part of it. As right now, even we're in a huge back and forth matchup as McCann continues to keep her Tigers here in this game. As UCLA found a way to break through in the second inning with a few defensive miscues. So far, not a lot of balls have been squared up against the ace in the circle for the Tigers. As McCann leaves that one upstairs. UCLA Bruins' first walk of the day. First walk for both teams, I must say, unless I missed one.
Oh, I think you're almost correct. There was one on Mizzou's side as well. But there just haven't been, which is you can't with these teams. You have to keep the runners off the bases, especially when you're facing powerful lineups like the Bruins and like Mizzou. You don't want to allow any extra base runners.
And for the Bruins, you have Crow at first base, but Hatch came in at second base as she will send that one to third. Turns one, turns two. A huge response there for the Tigers. The double play against the Bruins as Hatch stands alone now at third base.
This is such a good example of knowing your play before it happens. Hatch is at second base, and you could see Daly watches her pass by, doesn't pay any attention to her, knows that she's got a double play in front of her, turns it, so Hatch is at third, but Mizzou's got 2 outs.
Then a big swing and a miss. This could be exactly what Missouri needs to start changing the script here on the game. And for the Tigers, they're used to double plays. It's what ended their win earlier against Rutgers. It's something they practice a ton and just throughout the week. McCann delivers that one. And as an infielder, you really have to be focused on that. Just understanding, even thinking through your head, if the ball comes to me, this is where I'm going, and this is my second option. And for so many people, these athletes are thinking it, well, you know, McCann stepping in the circle, she's stepping on the mound. They're constantly thinking that step ahead.
Yeah, you have to. This game moves so quickly.
McCann gets her to chase. And a huge third out, but not before the bang-bang double play for the Tigers as they go into the dugout after a stellar defensive inning and look to bring it over to the offense. Nothing beats a night like this with these views. Not only that, we have some incredible softball so far this game as the Bruins lead 2. but not before the Tigers finished last inning with a huge double play. Everybody, we got the dogs out here today as the Tigers look to start clawing back and getting on the board. And for this Mizzou team, they've been battle tested plenty recently after coming out in a 4-1 opening weekend. Last weekend, they fell 2-3, and Larissa Anderson's message was very clear to her team. She said, look, winning is hard, especially at this level, and someone's opinion of you doesn't change you. Only your opinion of yourself really changes you. So this team has honed in on that message. They're very focused on team first right now and doing whatever it can take to win the day and win the game this tournament. And in order to do so,
no, please finish.
I was going to say, in order to do so, they have to go against a talented pitcher in Caitlin Terry, but everybody knows that. But I just love the message, Amanda, that Anderson continues to bring to her team, that it's really just about what they think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone also has this weekend in perspective in that it is so early in this season still. And teams are still moving around, finding the right pieces to the puzzle, where they're going to go. Everyone's finding their swing, trying to hit their stride. So there's still a lot of time. And there's no reason to press at this point.
A lot of time. The time continues to creep up as Terry puts away another strikeout, her 7th of the game. This one, bringing it upstairs and out. And she has just been so hard to hit against and so many different strikeout pitches, and that's what continues to make her successful. The vertical movement, the horizontal movement, and then throwing in that off speed. I mean, she is just a jack of all trades.
Yeah, that rise ball that starts at the waist or even at the thigh and then moves up sometimes into the strike zone. You can't lay off of that, and it's hard to get the barrel on top and through. So Missouri continues to try to barrel up on that pitch.
That one will fall in for a base hit for Hill. Finding a little bit of grass there out in right field. Hill doing a good job, not trying to do too much with this outside pitch.
Yeah, little victories, right? Just getting that pitch outside, and that was a good adjustment after that hard, high swing to keep the barrel down and go opposite field.
This passing the bat will be key for these Tigers as they look to start to create a little bit of momentum here in the top of the fifth offensively for themselves. And it becomes a chess match against a pitcher like Terry, who's working so many different pitches. She gets you to go up and away. You think maybe she's coming low and out next one. And that's when softball, in my opinion, becomes so fun, when you have to think about what's she going to throw me next. Up to Grove, will send that one off to right field. And Hill was taken off. You could hear it on the pitch. Everybody from the Bruin dugout yelling, going.
Yep.
Which always the #1 rule if you're in the dugout. Eyes locked on the runner. You're your catcher's #1 voice. As Maggie Daniel will hold it down at the plate for the Bruins. And Terry will send that one up and out of the zone. The way she rocked back, you knew she wanted that call. Looked like it had the movement to do so. Sometimes hard when a catcher is popping up behind the plate to get that call. That one gets her sensor, and safe is Hill, showing off the speed.
Yeah, that was tough. You saw Daniel was keeping down in her crouch to get that strike 3 called. She had to hold it. It was a lower strike, so she had to hold it into the zone. So I wouldn't call it a hesitation, but she just took 1/2 split second longer to get rid of that ball.
Sometimes you have to choose your route. That one going for the strikeout. But I completely agree. I think everyone was also a little bit surprised on the no swing sometimes on the pitch, and all of that could be playing into factor. As Sokolsky with an opportunity, a runner in scoring position. One will go off the helmet of Daniel. Terry being a great teammate, walking all the way, checking out her catcher a little bit, getting some smiles, making sure she's okay. Nothing more important than that battery back. It's a foul tip. One of the hardest ones sometimes to defend as the catcher. And another strikeout. Make it number 8 on the night for Caitlin Terry, as the sophomore ace continues dealing in the circle for the Bruins against this talented Mizzou lineup. UCLA, all the momentum in the world thanks to that one right there, Caitlin Terry. Fans from all over coming their way to the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, including our vendors as Bonet. But before then, we have a big out here in right field to secure it for the Tigers. And as I was saying, Bonet is a proud sponsor of Mary Nutter. Visit Bonet to create your perfect training system. The perfect training is what's allowed a lot of these athletes to be here competing at the highest level. Here at this tournament, we have 8 of the top 25 teams. Nowhere else in the country can you find that right now. Bola steps up to the plate. That one, a rare one, getting by McCann and Crenshaw. The one thing McCann has done so well today is limit the top 2 incredible hitters for these Bruins, who coming in both had crazy high averages, around 500 and above. That one's popped up to Hay, who will charge from first base and continue to neutralize the bats of Bola.
Yeah, Pola's gone up in the zone a little, and she is swinging, like we mentioned, a hot stick, but maybe chasing a little more out of the zone than she has been.
And it's always a tale of two sides, right? Chasing out of the zone a little bit more, and also, too, it could be just the spin quality we're seeing from McCann, who's able to move it so well. Seeing some late sharp break always helps when you're pitching with the lights as well. I loved that as a rise ball pitcher back in the day.
Ooh,
It
yeah.
felt harder for the hitters.
Yep.
McCann will fire that one. We talk a lot about just the impact Jessica Clements has had since joining this Bruin program. Not only with her bat, but just her seniority, her maturity and wisdom she has brought to the team. The 2-time Big West batting champ. She transferred from Cal Poly. The graduate senior will roll that one over to the right side, but breaks it through the infield. And a little 2-out hit.
And leaning into that off-speed pitch, but keeping the hands back, that's the key. Is it might fool you on your legs, but if you keep your hands back, you can still get enough momentum with that barrel to put something hard in play. And Clements does a good job of just staying back long enough and pulling it with her.
And when you have the speed, I feel like as well as Clements, you would almost notice that it felt like Updegrove was playing tight against her. That one also sneaks through the infield, and UCLA now with 2 runners aboard and 2 outs. Just finding every gap and hole in the infield right now as the Bruins. Again, not squaring up McGann, but doing just enough to be able to poke a few base hits through. And that'll cause a timeout by head coach Larissa Anderson for the Tigers. She probably looks to just settle her defense down. 2 outs. You see McCann having a nice deep breath here, but signs of a great team, Amanda, are when you can get something going with 2 outs.
Yeah, and a lot of times you see those 2-out rallies happen and get a couple of good base hits back to back. Maybe catch a break with a defensive miscue, but when you're in the heart of your lineup like UCLA, you hit that ball hard on the ground and put it in play, good things happen.
Megan Grant 0 for her so far today, but off to a terrific season herself. .345 batting average, 3 long balls and 13 RBIs. She looks to find 14 right here, the runner in scoring position. And I liked that timeout by Anderson. She understands the power that Grant has, but also this is a big turning point here in the game. If you can continue to keep UCLA's lead only at 2, you feel right close to it, rather than letting it get out of hand after just a few little squigglers. These 2 teams last squared off in 2022 when the Tigers lost to the Bruins 7-5 here in Cathedral City. So a rematch now comes 3 years later.
It's hard to believe, actually, for as much as we see these 2 teams and their rankings and what they're able to do in their conferences, I would have thought they would face off a little more often.
I totally agree. I was surprised myself. I double-checked myself. So swing and miss there for Grant. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But to your point, just 2 historic programs in what they've done last season. The Bruins made a trip to the Women's College World Series, and Mizzou was just a game away in Super Regionals. They had their most wins last season, 48. As McCann and Grant continue to paddle it off. Grant, you can tell just the deep breath, the focus, something she's worked on a lot is just the mindset and mentality behind her game. She sends that one into right field. And another tough one. The miscommunication, and it looks like Updegrove, the second baseman, is the one who walks away with the out, but catching it is all that mattered for the Tigers as they keep UCLA's lead only at 2. We'll head into the 6th with 6 more outs and an opportunity to tie it or even get ahead for the Bruins. USA Preps is the largest college camp and tournament company in the nation, hosting over 1,500 student athletes per year throughout the West Coast. USA Preps camps and tournaments provide exceptional coaching, competitive play, and invaluable exposure to college coaches. Visit usapreps.com for a list of 2025 events. Talk about having 15,000 student athletes. We're going to have around 30 to 35,000 people walking through the doors the next 4 days here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. No time like the third week of the season being able to host this and all these incredible teams as the Tigers, they get down to their final 6 outs. Caitlin Terry, who's been pitching a gem so far today with 9 strikeouts on the game.
Stefania Abrascato was in right field last inning. The ball found her a couple of times. Asked to lead off this inning. That's tough to face Caitlin Terry for the first time in the top of the 6th inning. That hard throwing rise ball, get you behind in the count, and then fishes upstairs.
A tough task for anyone coming off the bench, let alone facing somebody who has been dealing so far today. As Terry so far on this season, she has 2 shutouts, a 5-1 record. As Crenshaw looks to break that for the Tigers. And coming into this game, Crenshaw has been batting around 400 since Invitational, and she's actually 2 hits away from 100 in her career, a huge milestone that will be celebrated, in 82 career RBIs. I mean, that is somebody who has been making an impact throughout her 4 years for Missouri.
And Caitlin Terry tries to slip one in there, tied in on the thighs, and you hear the crowd in the background. They wanted that called. But another life for Crenshaw.
Crenshaw fires that one through the middle, and it will go all the way to the fence. She will round first base and be standing at second. And a 2-strike double. Mizzou's first extra base hit so far this evening.
And Crenshaw just absolutely hits that one on the screws. So hard it gets through both left and right field all the way to the fence.
And that could be the rally and the fire that these Tigers needed, with Crenshaw with a huge lead there off second base. As Claire Cahilan comes up to the box with a lot of speed. We've seen her try to slap through every at-bat so far. And Terry knows that as she's working away. Sometimes harder for a slapper to hit, as they tend to sometimes pull, wanting to run to first base. And to be able to hit that, you have to stay very neutralized.
And that last pitch at the knees looked like it was on the very outside edge of that strike zone. I mean, it couldn't have gotten any better. It would have been really hard to reach and put into play.
As Kylan sits in a hitter's advantage count. Is able to put that one and play another one past Terry, but fires it across the infield, and a smart play there by Garcia, the freshman, with a fake bump looking to third. The talented base running for Crenshaw, and the Tigers have one at first and third base.
Now, we just talked about this, the importance of getting it by Terry, and I thought Alina Garcia had a play at first because she was moving through that ball toward the bag, but Cahalan is so quick that there was no play, turns and tries to get that secondary runner over at third, but Mizzou making things happen. Cahalan has just been, I have loved watching her at bats.
Every time putting it in play, making the defense work behind her. That time she used the dirt, creating a lot of power to get it over Terry, who had jumped and showed off a vertical, but even that one was too high for her to snag. Right now, if you're Missouri, you're happy with where you are in the lineup at your 3-hole in Walker. Terry firing right at her. Great response pitch by her.
And Coach Anderson would love to get Cahalan over to second base to eliminate any sort of double play opportunity and to put that second tying run into scoring position.
So Walker puts that one in play, sends it deep to center field, but a huge snag there by Clement. A run will score as Crenshaw tags up and has all the time in the world. No throw is made, and the Tigers are on the board. There's a lot of momentum going on in that dugout right now.
Yeah, Walker absolutely connected on this pitch. It was hit so hard. Clements had to go back a couple towards the fence, makes a nice catch, but you're right, an easy sacrifice fly, run scored.
We're starting to hear a little bit of life from the Tigers dugout. They bring the score within 2-1. You have Daly, who so far is 0-2 on the day, as Terry knows that, attacking early. This is always a testament to a pitcher's endurance on how do you respond, how do you handle the 6th and 7th inning when you start to get the third time through the heart of the lineups. Terry gets a swing and a miss upstairs. A terrific response by Terry, but not before the Tigers score their first run of the game. We will come back in the bottom of the 6th with a one-run ball game as the Bruins look to respond after giving up 1 to the Tigers. Everybody, it's time to give away to our camera crew as KJ out there in left field, because your college sports have a home here on Flow College. Watch more than 12,000 college sporting events from 100 schools, 12 different conferences only on Flow College. Head to flowcollege.com today to see everything now and all the people behind it who make it possible. It's so amazing to see all the men and women on the cameras, in the production truck, at the booth. It really takes a village to put these games on, and the village here at Flow College is one of a kind. So the first time today, McCann will step in the circle with her Tigers on the board. They brought it into a one-run ball game. Kanaya Bragg will lead it off for the Bruins. Last time she led off an inning, she started off with a base hit. She 1 for 2 on the day. Bragg with a big swing. This one, 2 people are on it. They're not able to snag it. Tough one up against the fence. As Crenshaw did everything she could.
Yeah, Crenshaw was an athletic infielder coming into Mizzou, and now a starting catcher back there. So you can tell She is an athletic catcher. She can move well. She sees the ball, finds it well.
Another big swing by Bragg. This one hanging in the air for some time. A little bit of bobble, but Daly able to make the play. And I love the smiles you see after the play of, whew, we did it. No matter who caught it, one of us did.
It's tough when that ball gets hit high up into the night sky. Kind of moves around a little bit, but a great job of tracking it. Deep breath because she says, oh man, I almost lost that one.
As McCann doing a great job. Intel just going up in the zone against these Bruins. They've had a lot of home runs so far through the first 3 weeks. She's testing them at their own power, able to get them just underneath a little bit. Seneca Kuro. Watch that one go by. They've loved the way both pitchers tonight have just really utilized the inner half of the plate against these powerful hitters.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's such a great lesson to young pitchers that when you've got power at the plate, you don't always have to go away from the barrel. Jam them in tight and then work away. I love, as you mentioned, Sydney, watching these pitchers not shy away from that inside part of the plate. They're hammering the hands hard, and it's been really effective.
And to me, that's what always separates the good and the great. It's the pitchers who have that confidence to go inside, and it opens up the door for the outside pitch. That one, a little bit probably more outside than McCann planned on, but you know what? Every once in a while, a slipped pitch can sometimes work in your favor on the next one. And fires that one for a strike. Big swing and a foul ball diving play, but the ball trickles out. As Sokolsky does everything she can, getting dirty on that play, but just falls out of her glove.
Yeah, I think if there were no fence, Sokolowski would have had this, but shied away a little bit, did a good job of breaking down and sliding to prevent a collision. But yeah, that would have been an amazing catch. Very difficult one. Good effort.
The Sports Center top 10 catches in the making. So many always live in the making. It's why few are made in making. And for the Bruins, sometimes it's not even just, you obviously want to get the run back, but just having any momentum. As you could tell, Missouri's starting to feel it more and more on their side. That one's launched into center field, and it is over. A huge shot by Seneca Kuro brings the run back for the Bruins.
What a great pick-me-up for the Bruins. And Kuro might not have the highest batting average, but she comes through with these home runs, and that's her 4th of the season. She's tied for most on this hot-hitting UCLA squad, and no better time than right now to cushion that lead by 1 going into the 7th inning for the Bruins.
The graduate doing what she does best. I love Fernandez tossing her over, a little treat for later, and she even hit him with the night pose. I think that's a Steph Curry, Sabrina favorite in the NBA, WNBA. I love that we're bringing it over to college softball right now. And you mentioned it, the perfect response that these Bruins need. Sometimes even just that one run, a little punch back can mean so much when a team is knocking at the door. Off speed, a little oopsie swing. All about how can you respond. So far, McCann doing a great job firing 2 strikes after giving up the long ball. Garcia gets a hold of that one, sent it deep to left field. And is it back-to-back? It is! Another long ball for the Bruins. And we get another good night pose as UCLA has found their way against McCann.
And you were just talking about McCann coming back strong, but it's this 0-2 pitch. She's so ahead in this count. And I know she wishes it might have been a little bit more on a corner because Garcia just gets the barrel to it and barely finds inside that left foul pole for a home run. And now the Bruins are feeling a little more comfortable going into that last inning, and that'll do it for Marissa McCann.
For McCann, until those last two hitters, we saw her do a terrific job so far in the circle. She will go 5.1 innings, only giving up 9 hits, 3 strikeouts, and keeping the Bruins neutralized until the end here. We're going to send it off to a break, and when we're back, we'll introduce the new arm in the circle for the Tigers. Welcome to the circle. We have Natalie Touche, who so far this season has a 1.17 ERA in her 6 innings pitched. A great moment for her to take over and continue her campaign this season. Last year, she only had 1 innings pitched in 2024. So far, getting more trust in the circle for the Tigers. Somebody who spent a lot this offseason and just figuring out what her strengths were on the mound and growing them. And I know the Tigers are thrilled to have her back. And right now, if you're Touche, your biggest job is just to try to find a way to get these hot swinging UCLA bats off balanced, off time. A great way to do so is coming in with the firing of first pitch strike.
Yeah, not shying away, hammering right through the zone with that first pitch. Sometimes you have to do that if you have any sort of nerves. Just throw all out, breathe it out in that first pitch.
And I love how fired up she is right away. You see in both strikes, she's fist bumping to Crenshaw. And to somebody to come in with all of that energy is what a team like Missouri needs after giving up 2 back-to-back long balls. Good job laddering down that one down. We both loved it.
Good job. Like it's speak out loud. Or think out loud. That was a good job. A nice 0-2 pitch.
We saw last time McCann spanning the zone up. She will do it down. That one bloops through for UCLA. It's Maggie Daniel finding a way to drop one in. And welcome Touche to the game. For Touche, you have to be telling yourself nothing heard on that one. Working with 1 out. It looks like UCLA might not only be making a runner change. Actually, that will be it. I love the communication you have from one batter to another. Key when you bring in a new pitcher of what does she look like?
Yeah, and taking a significant amount of time during that change. Maggie Daniel pulls Riley Slimp aside, gave her all the 4-1-1 on what she saw.
Benito is the pinch runner at first base. As Riley Slimp at the plate. The different looks we're getting here by Touche as we go from somebody who predominantly threw up in the zone. Now if you're UCLA, you're changing your barrels in the batter's box. As someone's working more drop ball. As that one sneaks in for strike 2. Touche with one out. Crenshaw does a great job knocking that one down, saving a runner, Benito, from getting to second base.
Yeah, Slimp in that 9-hole, just trying to turn it over, working back from an 0-2 count.
That one gets the elbow guard of Slimp as she'll take a trip down to first base. Move a runner over to scoring position. Love to see Hay checking out, just making sure that Slimp was okay over there at first base for the Tigers. It's when your competitors in the field, but you always take a moment just to make sure that it's a friendly, healthy competition as well. We see one of the best in our game, Lisa Fernandez, we just saw at third base for the Bruins. Say one of the best in the game on both sides of the plate. Most people know her for pitching, but somebody who works with a lot of the Bruins hitters as well. Touche living, painting that outside corner.
I'm gonna go look at Riley Pinedo over at second base, getting a nice big lead with one out. Just got to read the hit, but also looking to score.
And so important against a pitcher who's throwing mostly drop as well. Most of the time, you know if a ball's going to be put in play, it's going to be a ground ball. And as she knows better than anyone else, it's so important to try to get in front of it and beat it going to third. That one sent deep to left field, right in the hands of Callahan for out number 2. And it's just a pop off these bats. Line drives for UCLA. Another game of telephone. This time to Jessica Clements. Clements so far been quiet here today. Somebody who's never quiet for very long. It's to change up her game as she shows off a little bit of short games.
Yeah, trying to catch that defense on their heels. You know, you're sitting back. The Bruins have been hitting the ball hard. It's easy to get complacent. So Clements just seeing if she can catch someone off guard.
And Touche fires away early on in the count. The Bruins with an opportunity to extend their lead with 2 outs. They've shown they're a 2-out team so far today as that one's put in play. Sprays off to left field, but not before diving and catching. The Sokolsky, we've seen her flash the leather. This one able to get the job done. And the Tigers have given up 2 more and will look to respond in their last final 3 outs against the Bruins, who extended their lead 4-1 as we head into the top of the 7th. The Missouri Tigers showed off their powerful bats in the 6th inning, and now with an opportunity to do so, they're going to have to do some damage as they're down to their final 3 outs here. Caitlin Terry showing off a gem, what she has done so far in the circle. 12 strikeouts, looking for her 3rd shutout of the season. Already 5-1 on the year. This would be win number 6 for Terry. Not only is she dealing well, but she's also had some good defensive plays behind her. Leading off the Mizzou Tigers, they're in the middle of their order, is Abby Hay. Hay so far 0-2 on the day. And it's felt like every single pitch has been working for Terry today.
Yeah, and when she wavers, she brings it right back on course. She's done a great job of redirecting and keeping her team on pace. And if you're the Tigers, they have been building momentum offensively over the last couple of innings. So you have to dig deep. And if you're Hay, understand that, yeah, you can hit the long ball, but that's not what matters right now. It's base runners, it's station to station, past the bat, generate that momentum to inch back up against UCLA.
For UCLA, they came off this season firing on all cylinders. 9 straight wins. And they've wrapped up last weekend after being dominated, having so many ranked wins with a loss, their first one of the season. And when talking to people in the program, they said it felt so different. It felt like, they're like, okay, we knew what we did wrong and how we could be better, but there was no emotion attached to it. This team is so confident in who they are, not only individually, but collectively as a group. And I think when you have a team who's able to bounce back in the way that they have so far this game, it's a great sign of a team who's going to be resilient come conference play, come postseason. As Terry fires that one, her second no-looking strikeout, backwards K for the day. A lot of other Ks.
Yeah, sometimes just wanting to be a base runner and not going for the fences can be a disadvantage because then you get too selective, and Abby Hay watches that waist high, maybe thinking it was a little out of the zone.
Zanaya Hill, it's been her day so far today. First collegiate hit earlier against Rutgers. Can she continue carrying on this magic? I think with so many of these hitters, we're seeing a few check swings here today, and I think that just goes to show how much the different levels are I hate to say mess with them, but sometimes it can get in your head that Terry is just working so many different looks.
Yeah, you're afraid to fully commit to that swing. But I've been impressed with Hill's pitch selection. I think she's done a really nice job of generally going deep into the count, swinging at good pitches, making good contact.
And you mentioned it earlier, you felt like she's been there for years and just how comfortable she's looked in the batter's box.
Like that's a full commitment swing. That's not a check swing. That's a, I see the pitch in the zone, I can hit that pitch hard. And she's going for it.
She wasn't just a little late on that one, I agree. Catches it a bit more out front. That ball is sent hard. But Terry gets her to chase up. And the southpaw continues to make the ball dance in each and every way. We knew Caitlin Terry was going to be special after her freshman campaign that led the Bruins to Oklahoma City, but I think we're starting to see a glimpse of how special this future is as long as the Bruins have Terry in the circle.
20 for 24. 20 for 24.
The Bruins do have a young pitching staff, so it'll be fun to watch them over the next couple of years.
Is down to her final out, the Mizzou Tigers. As Terry delivers that one. And the theme of the day has been getting ahead for Caitlin Terry. We've seen her do it on almost every single batter she's faced. Especially when someone new steps into the game and wanting that one, but just a little bit outside.
And this Cadence Shepard getting her first at bat. We talked about how difficult it is to come in, face Terry for the first time with the way that she's been throwing in this situation. Just trying to get anything going for your team.
That one's fouled off. And as Terry steps towards the mound with what will be her 100th pitch, has been incredibly consistent so far today, minimalizing her pitch count, which is something huge heading into a long weekend here of hard matchup tournament games. And all it will take is 100 to punch another one out for Caitlin Terry, who was phenomenal today for the UCLA Bruins. The Bruins had everything firing right for them, starting with Terry in the circle. They hardly had to play much defense behind her, but every time they did, they were flawless. Not only that, the big bats came alive when they mattered most in the 6th inning with back-to-back home runs as the Bruins walk away with their 10th game of the season. Missouri went 1-1 on the day after stealing a huge win from Rutgers with 1-0, doing their specialty in a double play. We saw some so far today. But for Amanda, what we saw from the Bruins, offense, defense, pitching, what stood out to you the most?
Well, I think just Caitlin Terry setting the tone in the circle. We talked about early on in that first inning, hammering the strike zone. I think she got ahead 0-2 to the first, I don't know how many hitters, but that really just engages your team on defense and allows them to go to work behind you. And then catching that early break in the 2nd inning with Elena Garcia on and that little dropped fly ball really opened the door for UCLA, but then it wasn't until those big sticks in the 6th inning when UCLA really needed to add a little cushion prior to that 7th inning, because we saw Missouri gaining a little momentum offensively. UCLA shut the door with a couple of back-to-back home runs by Curro and Garcia, and that really is what finished this ball game, and then a strong ending. Just the way she started it, Caitlin Terry in the circle.
You mentioned Elena Garcia. Well, we are lucky enough to be joined with a freshman who went 2 for 3 today. Alina, congrats on the win. What was working so well for you today at the plate?
Honestly, I just trust my coaches, trust my teammates that they have my backs. I mean, before every game, all week, we prepare for these pitchers, so I just trust what I can do, and I trust my coaches, so when I go up there, I just follow that plan.
Well, Alina, you grew up in the Southern California area, so I'm guessing that you've been out here, seen some games at the out here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. What does it feel like to play on the field, to actually get to experience this tournament as a player?
It's honestly crazy because this was like the big tournament when I was little that I would always come to, and I was one of those fans like waiting in line for autographs, and now like I'm a player on the field. So it's just honestly so cool. Just it's like real, like it's all real now.
And for Alina, you mentioned you were one of the ones who was in the fans watching. Well, now fans are piling in to watch you. You guys are getting ready for another tough opponent here. In just a few minutes, we'll come back and you guys will be facing Nebraska. Obviously, celebrate this one, but what's even just the thoughts for next game as you look to move forward?
Yeah, honestly, like, yes, we won that game, but we know we have a lot left, and it's a new game, so erase this game. Thank you. Like, it's great that we won, but now we have to lock in for this next one, and I know that we're good enough to beat anybody.
Well, in order to do so, you're going to need a lot of bats, a lot of gloves.
Yep,
Your team's providing you with all of that now. Alina Garcia, congrats on a terrific freshman campaign so far. We'll be back with you shortly in the rest of Flow College as we have UCLA and Nebraska as a terrific nightcap. Don't go anywhere. Alina will not be in all of her gloves. We will back with you shortly from Wrigley Field. I'm Cindy Supley alongside my partner, Amanda Freed.
Woo-hoo.